So I know the way I'm doing this is kind of weird, but I tried some other ways, and I think just playing a YouTube video while kind of stopping and explaining it is the best way to do it. And basically, this video is basically just going to be a film analysis. So as we look here, 4-0, pretty good start in the RFNA season. I play as the Nebraska Danger. I've done pretty well in the regular season, usually do pretty bad in the playoffs though. Hopefully we can change it around. I get offered a trade for this D-back. I don't take it because that'd be dumb. Okay, so then score a touchdown, and then I throw to that receiver, take it out of bounds. No QB is pretty boring to watch. It's basically just don't throw a pick, because that could have been a bit dangerous there because of that tight end. So then I throw it over there. He catches it. Then make another throw to the tight end, who is a little too slow, and he doesn't catch the pass. Resulting in completion, not the end of the world. So we continue. He gets out of bounds. He throws the ball. Touchdown. Then I go for 2. And I make it. So then Cleveland gets the ball. They score, which is a little annoying because that's 2 scores in the first quarter. I do get the ball back, so it's not the end of the world, but it is still mildly annoying. So we get down there. We get down, and then with 1 second left, I call a timeout because that way to get like an untimed down, because that'll just let me score a little quicker in the second half. And I didn't really do that great on that play. Actually, let's take a look back on that. So I think on that play, I don't think I was the run throw, but maybe one of those guys up there could have gotten it. I don't know. I'm just saying stuff. Okay. So I get out of bounds, and then it's the end of the half. So start throwing, and he gets to the end zone, touchdown. So it's 16-15, 154 left. So you'd hope to get a stop. This could be 1 possession, this could be 2, this could be 3. It kind of depends on what your defense does. So my defense gets a stop there. So I get right out of bounds because that was a quick turnover too. That took like 15 seconds off the clock. So I throw it out of bounds, and then so I catch it. I call another timeout. Probably should have just tried throwing it out of bounds, or trying to throw it to a receiver who would get out of bounds in that play, but that's not what I did. So yeah, then I score, and then 1:16 left. This is a little dicey. This could end with like Cleveland. This could end with like Cleveland scored a touchdown and me not responding at all. That wouldn't be super likely on 2-minute extreme, but it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. So get down there. Got plenty of time here. So the goal is these, because they screw up these kind of 2-minute drills. I have plenty of time here. Don't rush a pass. Don't do anything questionable. If you have to throw it out of bounds, or if you have to throw it to receiver who's gonna go down and bounce, burn some time off the clock, it's fine. You got plenty of time. So I score a touchdown. That's good. 2-point conversion, score that as well. And now we're up 32-15, going into the half with the ball. Getting the ball back, so that is a really good position to be in. Because that means if you get one more stop, that would be a 33. And a 33 is a very solid RFNA score. So I got out of bounds. I throw the ball. Right there, call timeout, which kind of dumb. Probably could have just gotten out of bounds there, but throw it there. Do get out of bounds this time. Throw it, score a touchdown. Now we're up 40-15. So the goal here would be get 1 more stop. If I didn't get that, it would be okay, but 1 more stop would be ideal. So, throw it here. Get a nice little juke. Let me get to the 18-yard line. I think that's around where that was. Get to the 5. I like these because then setting up a touchdown at the 5-yard line is much easier than trying to get a 15-yard touchdown. See, so I could just do a little pass like that and score a touchdown. That was a 15-yard play. That all those routes basically sucked. So a punt, 3 seconds left, and kind of just running on time down here. Probably should have thrown it up instead of down, but as long as you don't throw a pick, I don't really think it matters. So get out of bounds. So at this point, this game's about to be a bit of a destruction, because we could go up 15-56 which is a 41-point win, which I think an RFNA, 30 is a good goal to hit, and 40 is like basically a guaranteed win. It's if you get a 40, you losing would be like pretty exceptional. It's not a common thing that happens. So then I get another thing. So that's 49. That's nearly 50. So that's like really hard to lose with. I don't even know if somebody's lost with a 49. Maybe in some like playoff game a while back. I don't know. I've never lost to a score that high. I had a playoff where I think my worst score was like a 37, and that was where I won it all. Although I do feel bad for the guy who versed me in a championship. He scored a 37. That is the highest score by any loser in an RFNA championship game. I guys went to like 4 or 5 of them. I only got to 2. My first one I scored like 10. So I was glad to put up like a real score in the championship. That was nice. So, this game's doing pretty good. 18 seconds. We throw a touchdown. And 1-point conversion. We score. And Collegiate will just burn the clock out. So if you look at the stats of my players, I've gone back and forth in using tight ends, but the 2 tight ends I don't really end up using them too much. So you can tell they didn't really get too much stats. My receivers both did pretty well. Mingo had himself a game with 6 touchdowns. That is ridiculous. And then, we got another. The game will try to offer me QBs. I don't play with the QB, so I'm just not going to take any of them. So I have 3 10 CCs. You can tell I have plenty. And then we play Baltimore. Baltimore scores a touchdown. And if I remember right, in this game I do throw a pick. So let's go kind of look at that. So I think it was a quick pick too. So let's see. So I throw the ball there. That's an okay pass to make. That's a little short, but it's first. That was fine. Good pass to Biadez, who is kind of an old great. He's been on the team since the start, and I mostly just keep him for ceremonial reasons. His effectiveness as a tight end is pretty much gone. He was pretty good at one point, but he never was a high star player, and at 37, he is not getting any higher. So, yeah. And then the reason that playback kind of lagged a bit. I don't know if that was because I recorded that on the iPod, which actually didn't do half bad of a job recording, given how terrible that device is. But yeah, so I get the ball back, and I think it was because I know in one of these games I threw a pick, and I kind of want to explain like where I screwed up. So essentially, because back then I never learned how to like read a defense and like the Retro Bowl, because there's no QB. I could always basically find a guy who was open somehow, and I don't even need to worry about like jumping. But once I had to worry about jumping defenders, then I had to start reading the defense, and so that's why I struggled for a bit. It took me a bit to get back up to speed. So yeah, 212. I think it was. Let's see, right through the pick. Yeah, I think it was here. Okay, so where did I screw up? So let's see. So I should have not attempted that pass. You can tell the 2 defenders are right there. My 2 defenders are right there. I'm going to try to throw the ball to one of these guys. That is not going to end well. That was a very dumb decision to pass. What I should have done is just thrown it out of bounds and then waited for another play. And then I throw it. And then... See, on the old update, before they could jump, this would be just fine. But then they jump, they get it. And at this point, I'm pretty upset because, I mean, if they like scored they scored there, I would be down 8 going into the second half. I don't even think I received the ball, so like that would be pretty devastating. Like that would almost certainly warrant that would either. I mean, if I'm lucky, that game ends in like a 20. And I gotta, something big going there. Thankfully, my defense immediately got a punt off, which is basically a good thing. So it actually wasn't like a super damaging pick, because like chances were that I probably wasn't gonna leave enough time on the clock for them to for me to get another like defensive shot anyway. And so this one I'm a little more careful. Usually after an interception, I play a bit more conservatively the rest of the game because I don't want to have another interception. Although my season before this, I ended in the Retro Bowl throwing 3 interceptions in the first half, which I barely won. Because that was weird. Because I was like, am I going to have to restart? And that would get me DQ'd from the playoffs, but I also don't want to lose the CCs and take the massive like morale hit and all that. And I don't want to lose in the Retro Bowl because it just seems kind of embarrassing. So I didn't have to restart. My team won like barely. My defense, they didn't play amazing, but when you throw 3 picks, they're going to have to play pretty damn good to make that any sort of game. So, yeah. And Nebraska, so we score here. All is well so far. and we get the ball back. So this game's actually turned around quite a bit. It went from what looked like a bit of a mess to 32-14, which is a pretty respectable score for RetroBowl. And as you see, I'm just keep pushing. Especially like third quarter. Usually when I've kind of decided to not push, is usually if it's under like a minute 30, I don't usually I don't push. It kind of depends. Sometimes it's kind of two scenarios. If I'm up by a lot, if I like lose, like I'm up like 41 and I win by like 33, it's not the end of the world. Or the opposite, if I'm up by like 6 points, I might as well play aggressively because it's not like it's already a lost game. Might as well just like try to make it something respectable. So get the ball back. So this game's quite a blowout, 40-14, even with a pick, which granted it was like the luckiest pick, although that could have been disastrous. So you don't want to throw picks. I used to be a lot more efficient pre 5-1. I probably feel like I usually average 4 or 5 picks a season. Some seasons it's a little more, some seasons it's less. So I'm not like ultra efficient like I used to be. I've gotten better because when I first played on 0.51, I was like, Jesus Christ, it takes me like 3 minutes to score a touchdown. My offense like collapsed. Like I believe in RL from 0.42, I either had like the best offense or like close to it, and then by 0.51, because this all happened like pretty quick. So I went from like getting 1,051 PD to like 513. it was a complete drop off. This game's gone pretty well. Throw it out. 16 seconds left, so that's plenty of time. I only really need 6 seconds here. That was kind of a bad play call. So I don't get to work on coordinators in RetroBowl. Like, no, seriously. Okay. I mean, let's go back after we score a touchdown here. But like, okay, so like, pause here, and then what is this? Not scrubwall. Seriously? That's your play call? 16 seconds left. You call one guy going towards the middle. One guy going towards the middle. One guy going toward the middle. This pass is not getting out of bounds. This is literally the worst play call you can make here. But if you just kind of do that, it's not the end of the world. And I still had enough time on the clock anyway. But if I had like 6 seconds left and my coordinator called that, I would be pissed. Because I don't want that happening. All right, and then we score a touchdown. So, yeah. 5 seconds left. Plenty of time. 56-14. I don't know if I've ever back-to-back games with, or actually the last game I had 64. My offense is on fire. My defense is pretty good too. I mean, obviously to get high scores you need to force turnovers, and that's fine. I do believe that RetroBowl League play is essentially just offense minus defensive turnovers, or then I upgrade some players. Usually with kickers I just try to get like sort of like, I want like okay, because I bench a kicker. Let's go look at my roster. It's a bit of a mess. But I have Biadas, who is played so long with the team. I have Dwight, who's also played so long. I put him on a bench because I just kind of want to keep someone from the luxury teams. I don't want to get rid of this guy. I'm going to let this guy retire, and I'm going to let Biadas retire. Although Biadas, I want to keep at least 40. So these two guys are going to leave for the same season. I'm not doing too bad, like cap space wise. I mean, so I increased his morale a bit because probably should have done 8 men in the kicker. Don't know why I just skipped them. That was an interesting decision. So now we play New England. And New England is, the Death Star. I'm not super good at RetroBowl anymore, though. But yeah, I don't think their fans care. They got 5 rings. In a bounds, pretty standard start. I don't like starting the ball. I usually like, I wish you could choose whether to kick off or receive. Because personally, if it were up to me, I'd choose kick off because, like, if you kick off, then you can score at the end of the second half, and then also score it at the start, or you can score at the end of the first half, score at the start of the second half. So that can turn. So if a game's like dead even, and then you score again, that's 2 possessions. If you get another turnover, you got a game there. That's something you can work with. But if you get the ball, then you are, and the other team basically has the same thing happen, then you can turn like a pretty good game to pretty awful pretty quick. And maybe it's because Maybe it's because you have left a bit too much time on the clock. Maybe it's because your defense, allowed a team to score a touchdown with 25 seconds left on the clock. You never know. Because I feel like in Retro Bowl, one thing I hate, and I wish they would fix this, is like I've seen games where like your opponents at like they're at like their own 20, and then they like score a Hail Mary. It's like, really? Can't be a little nicer than that. I don't know. It's pretty standard. 16-0. It's a punt. 24-0. And if I remember this game right, I think this was a shutout for a while. So we'll see when they actually end up scoring. It was like one of those games where it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be amazing. It's like, eh. I mean, it still ended up being pretty good, but like, I don't know. I've had some games like that before where like in RL, before .42, I had one game where I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna score 100 points. Then my defense sort of fell off, and it still ended up being a great game. It was like 80. It was like a plus 82, which for 3-minute extreme is like really, really good. In fact, I think before the update, that was my highest score ever. Yeah, I think my iPod at this point is running some issues. I don't know. There's like three reasons this video clip could run into issues. I'll score a touchdown here. My bitrate isn't good, so this won't look great, but it's Retro Bowl, so yeah. Get out of bounds. Let's see here. So see, this is about to be 32-0, and New England starts as a ball, but if they don't get it, then that's a 40-0 game, which is, I don't know, man. I don't get it. I just recorded a random stretch of games in my defense. I don't think they've ever played as good in any 4 game span. Like, not at all. Imagine if I did this in the playoffs. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but you don't have to imagine that because it didn't happen. That's all I'm going to say. I did not score like 50 points each game in the playoffs. I'm not gonna say anything else. That just didn't happen. So you don't have to worry about that. But technically I'm spoiling some games, but somebody's gonna try to like back check the schedule against like what games I played, and then they're kind of just spoiling it for themselves at that point. Okay. So we're about to score. So hopefully I can score on display. I can't remember if I do or do. I probably don't. Oh yeah. Those usually towards the end that's usually where I kind of cut towards the center and then try to get a play. Because I play a little more aggressively towards the end of a quarter because I am trying to score. But if it's like, because I'm not going to play as much urgency, at the start of the game, then right towards the end. Okay, so we got, I kind of go towards the middle there because I just want to set myself up at a 25. I set up benchmarks. It's like 25, 40, 45, etc. And you'll see kind of me hit those benchmarks. It's like, that's where I'll like stretch out a play. Maybe I like won't go quite as far because I'm already on the benchmarks. That's kind of how I play. So I set up benchmarks to like hit while I'm on like each play. It's like I would hope to score in 2 plays. I don't know if I do. I probably don't, but I have 26 seconds left, so if I don't score, it's not in the world. So you get that, and then I like that play because you're able to get a block. And then be it as he's 37, but he can still pack a punch at times. Keyword is at times. He's a bit washed, but it's okay. Stuff to know with 264, which is already really high even for 8 games, and we've only played 7. So now we play Green Bay, which I don't think there's a Green Bay in the RFNA. I don't think any of these teams that I played are in RFNA. Because in RFNA, you can join as any professional team, custom, it could be made up. Just can't be a college team. Okay, sorry about that break, but so yeah, RFNA, you can only join with a professional team, so you can't like play as like the Florida Gators or Alabama Crimson Tide. You can make up a team and play as them. Some people play with made up teams. I'm thinking of maybe doing that. Nebraska Danger, because the team I wanted to join with was Omaha Beef, and I joined with that in that 1XL. The problem is that Omaha already has a team. Coach Hot Route coaches the Omaha Nighthawks, who are a defunct, can't remember which league it was. It was like IFL. I don't even think it was that. It was like there was like a little league. Omaha Nighthawks, they played at Rosenblatt Stadium, which is a now destroyed baseball stadium that is part of the Henry Dooley Zoo now. So yeah, kind of a weird place to play, but they actually had the highest attendance in the league despite being pretty bad. And that's what Hot Rock Coach is, because I don't know where he's from, but I would assume he's probably from the Omaha area, just like me. So, yeah, but unrelated to the game at all. And meanwhile, this first quarter is pretty good, 24-0 at the first. So I'm happy if I can score that in half. So yeah, and a 110 here. I think I ended up pushing. Probably not a smart idea. It was probably just that the other games all went so well. I'm like, I'm not gonna lose any points, but you could. So the best things you hope for here are either that the other team, you get a stop. That's what you're hoping for. At minimum, you hope they don't score, because that way then it's like, okay, well, at least you didn't lose anything by playing aggressive. The worst thing to happen is when they do score, especially at the end of the half like this. So in retrospect, I probably should have not played as aggressive, because I could have just kept because if I had just waited a little bit, played a bit slower, then there'd be 20 seconds left on the clock, and there would be no chance of a score. And if they didn't score at all. But that was still pretty risky, and I wouldn't suggest playing like that. Get in there, 32-7. It's a bit of a blowout. And we get out of bounds. And we get the stiff arm. Because I used to have two pretty bad receivers, and then I got I honestly can't remember these guys' first names, but Strange and Mingo, and they are pretty solid. They're definitely what I needed, because I had a lot of annoying fumbles and stuff, and these guys, not perfect, but they don't fumble the ball half the time, so that's great, and they're pretty quick. So I feel like my receiving core, since I improved that, I've done a lot better, and I think that is a big reason why, because I'm not leaving so much points on the board from stupid fumbles and stuff like that. Get out of bounds, so it's 40-7. So I'm hoping to just score here and get one more score. Because ideally, one thing about the RetroBowlLeagueReddit is they usually don't go for 2 unless it's a competitive game. So if they're down 48-7, they're just going to go for 1. So that means you can push more offensive position to push the score. Now, granted, is a 1 point difference really going to make a difference? No. And at this point, they don't score. So 1 minute left. I'm probably going to be okay. I'm not going to I don't need to rush down the field. I think I don't play super urgent here yet. Getting out of bounds at a 12-yard line. I just want to avoid a fumble. Just in situations like this, what you want to avoid is a turnover, because a turnover at this point in the game would be quite devastating, because that would turn a 49, which is an unbeatable score, into a 34, which is still solid but unbeatable. And that was a bit of a risky pass, but I knew if I could throw it outside there, I could make it. Then we throw it to Mingo. Mingo gets out of bounds. We throw it to Strange. He gets in the end zone for a touchdown. And a Danger win. 56-7. I don't think Green Bay scores 29 seconds. I don't think I've ever seen a team score with under 30. And there we go. It's over. 3-13, which is the highest I've gotten. And we have Gary Mingo. And as you can see, we end the season on a torrid hot streak with 6 40-plus games in a row. None of them quite hit 50, but we had 3 49s. Absolute demolition of anything that came into Nebraska Danger's path. And 313 PD. I don't know how the season goes. This will hopefully be the highest by mid-season. Otherwise, I'm very scared. And I don't know the season. Well, I've played. I know how the season goes. I'm not going to say how it goes. You'll find out in 2.5 weeks or so, depending on when I upload this video. But as I record this video, RFNA still hasn't started this season. So, yeah. And thank you for watching the first video on the TRB channel. Hopefully we can make some more content in the future, and hopefully we can grow this league scene in a way that I haven't really seen done before, because I would like to see more players play in leagues, and I hope this channel will help people with leagues and help people join leagues, and also help people with RetroBowl in general. Have a nice rest of your day.